Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. Great article here from T-Mobile's newsroom. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys can check it out. So T-Mobile shatters world record for 5G uplink. So they're using N41 2.5 aggregated in a dual connectivity mode with millimeter wave spectrum to achieve 2.2 gigs on uplink, and they're using about 60% of their millimeter wave bandwidth to achieve this. So there's more bandwidth that they could tap into to make the speeds even faster. So just a couple of things, right? Verizon can do this as well. So I don't know why this is shattering any world records. This is probably done in a lab, not commercially. And how much of the millimeter wave does T-Mobile really have deployed, right? It's very little. It's not a lot. Even if this does get launched commercially, you guys will connect to this maybe never, right? Even if you're in a city that has it deployed, unless you go to the specific area that has millimeter wave, you're never going to connect to it, right? It might even be inside a stadium or arena for that matter. So this is just a bunch of hype, right? As an example, El Paso, Texas, high market share for T-Mobile. Not a single tower has millimeter wave on it, or a single node has been deployed with millimeter wave. So this is just Ericsson, Qualcomm, and T-Mobile doing a little bit of testing in a lab. Nothing to write home about. It's not commercially deployed. This is done on a prototype with the Snapdragon X80 modem. The next device that's going to launch with that modem, I believe, is the S25 that will have that on board. And that's not coming till maybe, January, February of next year. So yeah, this is done with the prototype in a lab. It's not commercially deployed. This is just big hype, shattering world records. The only carrier that's going to deploy this, and they have the same capability, and maybe even they can do it better because they have more bandwidth, is Verizon. And Verizon is going to launch this commercially. We've already seen Verizon do 5, 6, 7, 800 megabits on uplink with using millimeter wave. We've recently seen some areas do standalone dual connectivity with C-band and millimeter wave. We're going to see more of that, and it's going to perform great. So clearly, Verizon can do this and better. So this is just a hype article. If I'm being honest, this is just T-Mobile saying we tested it first. Verizon likely tested this as well, just hasn't gone public in an article. So just big hype. Again, temper your expectations. Millimeter wave is not largely deployed. It's not even 10% deployed. They just relinquished some of their holdings. They kept some of it, but they relinquished a good amount of it. That lets us know, right? That lets us know a few things. They're not going to hit the build targets that were set forth by the FCC, one. Two, they really have no plans to deploy this at any grand scale. They're even saying it's not feasible to deploy. They don't own and operate any fiber. They don't have any dark fiber, so they're going to have to negotiate with third parties to trench, and that's very expensive, so they're not going to go that route. In areas where they have a very, very tight grid, I'm talking about even denser than the mid-band grid, like, for an example, New York City, right? Manhattan, they have sites like every, 0.2 of a mile in some of those very dense urban cores. There, you can expect to see more of that millimeter wave, right? It has to be a really dense urban environment where it can be deployed on the macro and be effective. And that's where we're going to see it. We're not going to see it in site spacing of a mile and a half, right? Those tower spacing grids, millimeter wave makes no sense unless the testing in Phoenix goes well with the millimeter wave for FWA, and they do the point-to-point from the macro to the house or from the macro to the multi-dwelling unit. Then I can see them using millimeter wave, and I'm more inclined to believe that would be the use case. But for the mobile user, they're not going to use it. So I don't even know why. Or they're not going to use it much, I should say. So I don't even know why they put out this article, just to say that they're first. But, I guess they're shattering world records since they are the first to announce it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe if you're new. Follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. See y'all in the next one. Peace.